everyone. This is truly a exciting moment for all of us here at the Institute. Um, my name is Holly Fairbank. I'm the executive director of the Maxine Greene Institute, and my co-host Ruth Zealand. We welcome you to the Maxine Greene Institute's first international conference and the first one online. So if we're a little wobbly, it's because we're toddlers still. um, this is also our 10th anniversary of the Maxine Greene Institute, yay, and the 7th I4 conference. What better way than to celebrate by reaching out to our by reaching out to Maxine's fans around the globe. About a quarter of our subscribers are from countries other than the United States. To date, her books have been translated into four languages: Korean, Spanish, Chinese, and Hebrew, as far as we know. And an article is currently being translated into Persian. As you will discover throughout this international conference, Maxine has inspired scholarship and community action and very personal revelations around the world. You will hear testimony from her colleagues, her students, and students of her students. Her gifts continue to inspire and enlighten us. It's really wonderful that you're all here gathered together. I wanted to show you just briefly on our website, if you're not familiar with our website. Here we go. Our Maxine Greene Institute.org website. I hope you'll visit it. It has ongoing conversations and upcoming events. And the thing that we've just started to gather is our interactive world map. And here you all are. As it's a work in progress, but we've discovered that there are folks all over the world, including many in Australia, South Korea, some in South Africa, Mexico, certainly, all the way in South America. Haven't even begun to tally up those people in the United States, as well as numerous people in Iran and Portugal, Indonesia, and so forth. So this is really just a beginning. We're beginning to gather the names as well, so we can begin to really have an international community where you can contact each other. But that's a work in progress. So just to let you know that that's there, and we welcome you to come to the website to check that out. Ruth and I are deeply grateful to the conference committee. We want to thank them to get us on this road, and to the Maxine Greene Institute board, who all lent their support, wisdom, and hard work. Special thanks goes to David Gonzalez, who helped us with our production, Sarah Pickman, who designed our program, Maria Rosos for her technical support, and to Pam Bernard for volunteering to be our chat monitor today. Thank you, Pam. We are all so grateful to you for your continued interest and belief in Maxine Greene's work, and we thank you for giving time on this Martin Luther King holiday. Those of us in the United States who are celebrating that this weekend, and to share your views here as seems relevant to today. I have a quote before I hand it off to Ruth that's relevant to Maxine wrote in Releasing the Imagination, page 40. She refers to Martin Luther King, and she says, think of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. addressing himself to individuals in a church, moving them in their diversity to envision renewed possibility for them as individuals, but also as members of a gathering concerned with civil rights, as they came awake to a dimension of lived life that could scarcely have predicted for themselves. They came to feel a transcendence that came from their being together in a particular way. The transcendence was often deeply personal, but through experiencing it, they came together in a revitalized community. In that sense, they were a community of beginners, moved to imagine what might be if they took action together. I think that's where we're continuing our taking action together. Ruth.
Yes, we are very grateful to share this momentous occasion with our colleagues from around the world as well as new friends. So thank you so much for coming. And just a few points before we begin. The first is the disclaimer that the opinions or points of view expressed by the presenters or the speakers are those of the speakers and presenters alone and do not necessarily represent the official position or views of the Maxine Greene Institute or the I4 at this conference. That's the first. Second, just as a reminder, and David already alluded to this, if you don't wish to be recorded or wish to opt out, blacken your screen and turn off your mic. A reminder, information for the reading group that Alice and Lady Quam will lead, excuse me, at 3:30 can be found on page 27, the last page of your program. Please refer to the chat for the addendum where you'll see a mistake, and Liz, wherever you are, she's at Southern Cross University, so please note that. I've added that Pam, you already know Pam, if you'd give a wave, is our chat monitor, so you can write to her if there are any issues. And just a reminder, when Terry, where are you? If you would wave, thank you. When Terry and her group present, we are also going to show the English translation. So if you would hold your chat until after that, that would be great. And then we all know this. We've all been on Zoom for the last 2.5 years or Google Meets. Just remember, every 20 minutes or so, wiggle your legs or arms, look away for at least 20 seconds to some object in the distance and come back. We have 12 hours of Zooming over the next 2 days, and we don't want your eyes or your energy to get too tired. And that's it. To all of us, enjoy the day. Have a wonderful time.
Thanks, Ruth. We have designed this program over the next 2 days with certain themes in mind, trying to be mindful of various time zones and the human need to break, stretch, and rest, as Ruth just mentioned, away from talking heads. So we've included some art interludes every hour and a half, 2 hours, which you can enjoy or you can walk away from, but they will be part of the recorded session. Please do take care of your eyes and your bodies as you see fit. This is a marathon for Maxine. I want to end by sharing a short excerpt from a lecture that Maxine gave at Lincoln Center Institute, one of her summer sessions. And it's done in 1998. So I think we estimated something like 83 years old. Going strong. So here's Maxine. David, could we see that tape?
I think we find it especially rewarding to greet those of you who are newcomers to what we're trying to do. The presence of newcomers means that there's something ongoing, something being kept alive, and it wants something beginning. And what is a beginning? A beginning, wrote Edward Said, must be thought possible. It must be taken to be possible before it can be one. The mind's work, in order to be done, occasionally requires the possibility of freedom, of a new cleanness, of prospective achievement, excuse me, of special and novel appropriation. The mind's work, yes. If the mind is seen as a verb and not a noun, I especially like that in Dewey when he insists that we think of mind as a verb and not a noun. Mind as a mode of being, as a mode of action, acting along with others or in response to others, since there can be no mindfulness without relationship, without culture or community. You will find work for the mind to do here, but not in isolation from other human powers. Imagination, perception, feeling, empathy, the body of movement. That's one of the rare and wonderful things that happens here in our workshops when teachers work with teaching artists. A wonderful integration of human capacities, so many of which are excluded in so many schools and so many institutions. Here, to have imagination and mind and empathy and the body all come together remains a kind of miracle. And having been in a workshop this morning with a dancer, Susan Thomason, working with poetry, working with movement, working with a mask. I felt that feeling of the miraculous again, when things come together and you see what you never saw, and you feel and you feel what you never feel. And then there's the capacity to make metaphors, to find to find unexpected patterns and connections, to wonder, to pose questions, to come awake, and by coming awake, to see more, to notice more, to attend more carefully to the particulars of a terribly troubled world.
Thank you, Maxine.